There is a moment, about 20 minutes into a ride, when your jaw unclenches. You didn't decide to relax. Your body just let go of whatever it was carrying. Your shoulders drop. The thing you were replaying in your head, the argument, the email, the things someone said that stuck with you all day, it just stops. Not because you solved it, because your brain quietly moved on without asking your permission. Every rider knows this moment. You might not have timed it, you might not have noticed it happening, but if someone asked you right now, you could probably point to the stretch of road where it usually kicks in. That one curve, that one straight, that one section where the world gets a little quieter inside your helmet. What most riders don't know is that this isn't just a feeling. Something is physically changing inside your brain around that 20-minute mark. And what scientists found when they actually measured it is more interesting than anything you've probably heard about riding. In 2019, a team of neuroscientists at UCLA ran a study on motorcycle riders. Not a survey, not a questionnaire. They actually wired riders up, tracked their brain activity, monitored their hormones, and compared what happened during 3 different conditions: riding a motorcycle, driving a car, and just sitting still, resting. Here is what they found. After roughly 20 minutes on a bike, the rider's cortisol levels dropped by 28%. Cortisol is your stress hormone. It is the chemical your body floods you with when you are under pressure, when you are anxious, when your brain thinks something is wrong even if nothing is. A 28% drop in 20 minutes. That is not a subtle shift. That is your entire stress system recalibrating in real time. But that is not even the most interesting part. What surprised the researchers was not just that cortisol went down, it was that another hormone went up at the same time. It's called DHEA. Think of it as your brain's shield. It protects your brain from the damage that long-term stress causes: memory problems, trouble focusing, emotional burnout. DHEA fights all of that, and riding pushed it up while pulling cortisol down. That ratio, the balance between the stress chemical and the protective one, shifted in a way the researchers described as a genuine biological reset, not a mood boost, a reset. Now here is where this gets really interesting, because the study also tested what happened when the same people drove a car, same road, same conditions, and the effect was barely there. The car did almost nothing. Cortisol stayed roughly the same. The brain stayed in the same gear it was in before they got behind the wheel, comfortable but unchanged. And there's a reason for that. When you drive a car, you can think about other things. You can replay the argument. You can mentally write the email you forgot to send. You can drift. Your hands are on the wheel, your eyes are on the road, but your mind is somewhere else entirely. And your brain knows this. It never fully locks in because it doesn't have to.
On a motorcycle, that is impossible. Your brain cannot drift because the bike won't let it. Every corner asks something of you. Every shift in the road surface, every car in the next lane, every gust of wind requires a response. Not later, right now. And your brain, the part that handles all of this, has a limited amount of attention to give. When the road is asking for all of it, there is simply nothing left over for the noise. That noise, by the way, has a name. Scientists call it the default mode network. It is not as complicated as it sounds. It is just the part of your brain that switches on whenever you are not doing anything demanding. It is the voice that replays old conversations, the one that reminds you at 2 in the morning about something embarrassing you said 5 years ago, the one that runs through worst-case scenarios on a loop, even when everything is fine. Researchers have found that this network is one of the main drivers of anxiety and depression. Not the only one, but a big one. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It just runs quietly in the background, all day, every day. And most people have no way to shut it off. Meditation tries, medication tries, exercise helps, but very few things force it offline completely. Riding does. Not because you are trying to clear your head, not because you decided to be present, because your brain literally does not have the bandwidth to run both systems at the same time. When the road demands your full attention, the worry machine has to shut down. It has no choice. That is what you are feeling at the 20-minute mark.
It is not just relaxation. It is the absence of something that has been running non-stop in the background since you woke up. And for most riders, it is the only time in their entire day when that voice goes completely silent. Think about that for a second. When was the last time your mind was actually quiet for a full hour? Not distracted, not numbed, quiet. For most adults, that almost never happens. Notifications stack up, thoughts pile on top of each other. The brain rarely gets permission to focus on just one thing all the way through. Riding doesn't ask for permission, it just takes over. And here's what makes this even more powerful. The UCLA study found something else that most people completely miss when they talk about it. The benefits didn't stop when the ride ended. Riders showed increased focus and sharper attention even after they got off the bike. Their brains stayed in that locked-in state for a while, like the ride tuned something that stayed tuned.
There was another study, this one from Japan. A neuroscientist named Ryuta Kawashima, the same guy who created those brain training games, partnered with Yamaha and the University of Tokyo. He took a group of men in their 40s who used to ride, but it stopped for over 10 years. He asked half of them to start riding to work every day for 2 months. The other half changed nothing. At the end of the study, the riders showed clear improvements in memory and spatial thinking, the ability to picture objects in their mind, rotate them, track things moving in real time. 2 months, daily rides, measurable improvements in how their brains worked, not just on the bike, in everything. Kawashima said something that stuck with me. He said, a car is a comfortable machine that does not activate our brains. It only fires up when something unexpected happens, like someone jumping in front of you. But a motorcycle keeps the brain fully engaged the entire time, every second, every mile. So, when you tell someone that riding clears your head, you are not exaggerating. You are not being dramatic. You are describing something that scientists have measured, documented, and confirmed. Your brain on a motorcycle is doing something it almost never gets to do in modern life. It is fully locked in, fully present, and the part that usually won't stop talking finally has nothing to say. That is why the ride home from a hard day feels different than the drive. That is why 20 minutes on the bike does something that an hour on the couch never will. That is why you arrive somewhere after a ride and you feel like a slightly different version of yourself, calmer, clearer, like something was rearranged without you having to do anything.
You already knew this. You have felt it 100 times. You just didn't know there was a stack of research papers explaining exactly why. And maybe that is the most interesting part of all of this. Writers have been describing this effect for decades, calling it freedom, calling it therapy, calling it the thing that keeps them sane. And science finally caught up and said, yeah, you were right. It is real, it is measurable, and it is happening every single time you throw a leg over the bike. So next time someone asks you why you ride and you struggle to explain it, maybe the answer is simpler than you think. Your brain needs 20 minutes. 20 minutes where the noise stops, the stress drops, and the only thing that matters is the road right in front of you. The question is, when was the last time you gave it those 20 minutes? And what would change if you stopped treating the ride as a luxury and started treating it as the one thing your brain has been asking for all along? Drop a comment and tell me, do you feel that shift? And how far into the ride does it usually hit you? I want to know if it is the same 20 minutes for everyone, or if your number is different.